Hello, so for our recent project in EDCI 270, I created a poll to be able to understand the knowledge that my students have gained from the information that I have presented. This is helpful so that I know what we may need to work on or things that the students already know. So you can see my form here. I created it through Google Forms, but to be able to create this, I'll go back here and I hit this blank button after signing into my Google account, and that allowed me to create this form. I then filled it with questions for the students that were kind of based off my objectives so that I know where the students are at in the lesson, what we can improve upon, and what they already know or need help with. So students first can enter a valid email address so that I know, one, who the student is, and two, you're able to send feedback and the score that they received on the poll, so that they know what they need to work on, and so then they can begin the poll. One of the goals of our lesson is for students to be able to accurately portray what a plant needs to grow. So there's a question here that gets some feedback on if they know the elements that plants need for growth. Then we have the different parts of the plants, and this is all just purely for a poll format. While there are points assigned, that's just kind of to gauge where the student is at. So one of our goals is also that they know which part of the plant is the leaf, the shoot, and the root. So you can find some survey questions here. And then there's also a part down here. One of the goals is that they know the parts of the flower. So here they can write the part and the letter that it corresponds with on this photo. So that's what the student sees, and then after they submit that, I can see each of their responses here. It's also very helpful because in the Google Forms format, it creates these really nice little graphs for me that can show where the students are at. All of my responses here received the full 19 points, so I can see that there were 3 students that received 19 points, but you could have a varying amount here. You can see where the majority of the class is at. It gives you the average, median, and range points that were scored, and then it gives me here the individual points that were scored by each student. Then I can see each of their responses here, and then once again it creates a nice little graph here that shows on the multiple choice questions what students answered. Thankfully they were all correct here, and then it also shows their responses here for the last question. But something really helpful and usable in this form is that you're able to click on each individual, and since this is a poll purely for practice, so a teacher could also use this in a quiz format. You can give individual feedback to each student, whether it be what they could improve upon or affirming them of their correctness. And then you can send and release the scores to each of the students or select ones. Just a really helpful way there, as there was feedback written that had to be graded individually. And then you can send out this poll by pressing this send button up here. You can either send it individually to students, or you can provide a link and share that link broadly. So yes, really great format to be able to understand and poll where students are at in the class, see what you may need to work upon if one of these questions were completely wrong for most of the class, you would know that was something that you needed to go over and assist students more with. So thank you for following along, and that's the poll that I have created. Bye.